Hey pros, Crystal here from Elite Hair Care USA. So today's video is how to know if your alopecia is reversible. A lot of you are dealing with alopecia right now. You have no clue what type of alopecia you have. You have not seen a dermatologist. You've not been diagnosed. Some of you have been diagnosed and misdiagnosed. Some of you just kind of thought that it was just a thing and it's just going to grow back, and you've noticed that a couple weeks have gone by and you don't really see any type of growth. Or some of you have had traumatic experiences and you've noticed that you've now started the cycle of alopecia. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But first things first, if you're new to my channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to thumbs up this video to tell YouTube how good your girl's channel is, and also comment down below any of your questions and comments at the end. All right, so alopecia. Alopecia is a broad spectrum of a word, right? So there are different forms of alopecia. We have traction alopecia that comes from pulling in a certain direction. It's typically around the hairline, all the way around. We have androgenic alopecia, also known as female pattern baldness. I like to associate that with the uncle at the barbecue, George Jefferson, Krusty the Clown. We have that type of alopecia. We have universalis, where it's your entire body has no hair. We have alopecia areata. It starts in little spots. There's so many different forms of alopecia, you guys, and people like to abuse the word alopecia because they never really understand. The word is just a word. It is a broad umbrella over a bunch of little umbrellas or people under it. Okay, so like I said, the video is going to talk about how to know if your alopecia is reversible. So we're going to talk about the alopecia that is really not reversible. We'll talk about the alopecia that can be controlled, and we'll talk about the alopecia that is actually reversible, and also the signs that that alopecia is non-reversible. All right, so let's talk about the one that can not be reversed. Typically, female pattern baldness or androgenic alopecia, once it starts, it cannot be reversed. It can be slowed and controlled or lessened, but typically androgenic alopecia is in your genetics. That comes from somewhere down the line, whether it had been on your mother's side, whether it had been on your father's side. Androgenic alopecia is not something that you create, it is within you. So let's talk about androgenic alopecia for just one moment, because this one really relates to a lot of my older women, and a lot of you are dealing with this right now and you don't know why. So androgenic alopecia, also known as female pattern baldness, typically starts somewhere in the crown of the head, and it usually looks like a part. And it looks like a part that is spreading very slowly. So you start noticing that it's a line, and then that line gets slightly larger or wider, and you notice it gets slightly wider, and it starts to get wider and go back until eventually it's really, really thin, or that hair has completely fallen out. A lot of you have been dealing with that and you didn't even know that that was something, that was an actual thing, right? So androgenic alopecia, it comes from within. So it basically is a male hormone that we as females carry, and that hormone lays dormant. Dormant meaning it just hides itself somewhere within our genetics, and eventually either one day it comes out, or our hormones are so strong that they can overtake it and overpower it, and it's not become a problem for us. So it is a male hormone, and one of the hormones that is involved in androgen, the hormone itself is named androgen, is testosterone. So our bodies as females, you know that they say a male cannot be without a female, because we carry everything that they carry except for the parts, right? Okay, so with androgenic alopecia, it is basically overdomination of that male hormone, which is androgen, within our body. And it starts to give us situations where all of a sudden you start growing hair in places that you don't want, like the chin, the mustache. Some people have whole beards. On your legs, super, super hairy. On your arms, super hairy. On your back, super hairy. And then it takes or thins the hair in the place that you do want, on the top of your head. See the opposite? Yes. So female pattern baldness is one of those things where it's not something that you did. It is something that genetically has happened, and it is within your chromosomes. It's within your bloodline of whichever side you are on. Okay, so that one, it is non-reversible, but it can be slowed or controlled. Okay, we'll talk all about products at the end that can help you with this, but that is just kind of female pattern baldness in a nutshell. Now, we have alopecia that is somewhat reversible, and I've seen people have good success or great success with reversing the actual situation, which is alopecia areata. I have seen, just by launching Elite Hair Care products with our first hero product, which was the Hair Repair Serum. That serum, I've had multiple clients, tell me that the spots that they had that were not scarred, we'll talk about that in just a second, began to regrow, including my husband, right? So he had a bald spot that seemed to come out of nowhere. And through the use of our Hair Repair Serum, he has literally gotten growth, and the hair around it has also grown in, and he has baby hair growing into that area. So alopecia areata is definitely one of those that they say is non-reversible, but I have seen different and I have seen results. Now let's talk about one that is actually reversible because it's really something that you did. Traction alopecia. Now, a lot of you know what traction alopecia is already, and a lot of you don't even know that what traction alopecia is and don't even know that you have it. Traction alopecia typically is when the hair is directionalized and it begins to recede in that area. Usually, the most affected place is the hairline. So those of you who love to wear very tight braids, you like to wear a lot of wigs, that is what we call intentional traction alopecia. And the reason why I say intentional, that doesn't mean you intentionally said, I'm going to rip my hair out. You just did something that you knew could inevitably cause hair loss. So that is why we call it intentional traction alopecia. Also, for those of you that like to wear ponytails a lot, and you wear your ponytail in the exact same place, the exact same day, the exact same time, all day long, and you notice that your hairline is thinner and thinner and thinner. That is also intentional traction alopecia because it is a negative behavior that you can control. We can control when we put braids in our hair. We can control how often we wear our hair in a ponytail. We can control when we allow people to put wigs on our hairline where it doesn't belong. We can control if we wear a lot of headbands on that area. We can control how often we put this glueless wig on and remove this glueless wig. You can control these things. So traction alopecia is actually one of the most reversible if caught before it becomes permanent. So every form of alopecia can become permanent, no matter if it's traction, alopecia areata, female pattern baldness, or androgenic alopecia. All of them can become permanent. And what we call permanent is when we use the word scarring. Scarring is just what I said. If you have a scar on your body, you will notice that that scar looks very different from your skin that is rejuvenating and regrowing. A scar is overhealing of a spot that has had trauma. That is exactly what a scar is. So I have a scar right here on my neck. You notice that this scar looks different from the other folds in my neck, okay? Because it is a scar. It is overhealed and it does not resemble the remainder of the skin around it. Scarred alopecia, no matter what form, it could be scarred traction, scarred alopecia areata, scarred androgenic. Once that area has become scarred, it has overhealed and the hair can no longer grow there. So you will no longer see live follicles in that area. Another way to determine if it's scarred is if it looks nice and shiny and you can feel it very soft and smooth to the touch. A lot of you are dealing with alopecia areata. A lot of you are dealing with androgenic alopecia, and you start noticing growth, but the growth is not the way that it originally was. The growth is very sporadic. You might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hairs, but then you have about a quarter size space where it's baby butt bald, nice and shiny, very, very smooth, and there's no live follicle there. That is all in one word what scarring is. Scarring is not reversible, and scarring typically happens when you have allowed the situation of alopecia to affect you for so long and it went untreated. You don't automatically wake up today and have scarring alopecia. You wake up today and you don't take care of the problem that you're having. You don't try to manage it, or you mismanage it, or you cover it up. And now a year goes by, 6 months goes by, 2 years goes by, and you notice that that area has become more and more and more bald. And you notice that there's no new hair growing in. Every single month, a new hair sprouts. No matter how short or how long it is, if that area has live follicles, you will see a follicle within 30 days. Guarantee. You'll see multiple follicles within 30 days. Guarantee. If the area is scarred, you will also notice, and how you can tell is that if you do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hairs in there, you notice that those hairs are nice and strong and they're growing longer and longer and longer, but the skin or the scalp around it has nothing else happening. That is how you can tell if that specific area has become scarred and that problem is no longer reversible. Okay? So, scarring alopecia is not something that we treat. Really, the only treatment for scarring is a hair transplant, because they now have to implant a live follicle in an area that has no live follicle. Okay? So that's really the only treatment to scarring. But my goal is to help you catch this before you get to the part where it becomes irreversible. It is no longer being able to be reversed. That's my job. That is the job of Elite Hair Care. That is what I bred life to my company for. That is the reason why I make these videos, because I am here to help you guys change your life before it becomes a problem. Okay. So for those of you that are dealing with traction alopecia, especially around the hairline, we have our Regrow My Edges kit, period. If you don't have that kit, you can get each individual product from that kit, which is our Edge Repair and Restore. That is one of our #1 selling products, the Edge Repair and Restore. It is a 2-part system. Use it once every 3 days. In between the 3 days, you can use our Super Growth Serum, and that is going to help you to boost those stagnated follicles that are taking their sweet A time to grow. Okay, so our Regrow Our Edges, or even our Edge Repair Kit paired with our Super Growth Serum, can literally change lives for you, right? Like change whole lives, okay? Specifically for traction alopecia, specifically. Now, for those of you that love to wear your wigs, that have just neglected your hair, and you start noticing slowly that your hairline or other parts of your hair is receding, Hair Repair Serum, Hair Repair and Restore Shampoo, Hair Repair and Restore Conditioner. You can use all 3 of those. Create cocktails. Repair Me Illuminating Mask. A lot of you guys sleep on that mask. The Repair Me Illuminating Mask is made to help rejuvenate and regrow stubborn, dulled out, I didn't give a damn type follicles. Period. So we have an entire hair repair collection that is geared towards those of you that is trying to catch this problem before it becomes an irreversible problem. And once it's irreversible, you don't have $1,000 to go get transplants in Turkey. You don't have $1,000 to go up to Bosley and pay them 20 grand for them to fill in this little edge right here. So go ahead and save yourself $20,000 by taking care of your hair now before it's too late. Do it now before it's too late. Period. Period. But as I said, I hope you guys got some good information from today's informational video for the free 99 from your girl at Elite Hair Care USA. Like I said, if you guys want more information or you want to jump into my Elite Hair Care University, go ahead, log on elitehaircareuniversity.com. Get enrolled in our classes. I have different classes that I teach via Zoom, so you don't have to fly to Florida to come and take a class. Classes are held online, live, and we have different topics to help you with your hair care journey so that you can start learning the facts to take better care of your hair and yourself. I hope you guys enjoy it. Peace.